Nell Simmons was way too good to go home from season 27 of The Voice, singing Roberta Flack's "Feel Like Making Love" for her battle with fellow team legend artist Olivia Kuper Harris. The singer blew the coaches away, earning herself a steal and a save. Nell Simmons, The Voice battle. "This is a song about love," Simmons explained during rehearsal. "Being a mom, being a wife, of course it resonates," she added, saying that her husband has just been really supportive. "And my best friend." Coach John Legend compared Simmons to Motown star Tammy Terrell, and she got even more praise following the performance. "The way you sing is in your body," said Kelsey Ballerini, calling the rendition "hot, hot, hot." "The big revelation here is Nell," added Adam Levine, revealing only John Legend turned for Nell during the blinds. "We were incorrect." "I'd probably lean towards you, Nell," Michael Bublé suggested. The other coaches, though, couldn't choose favorites or offer advice, prompting Legend to complain, "You guys are useless." He praised Simmons' voice's richness, calling the cover beautifully done, and saying it was so hard to pick a winner. Ultimately, he chose Harris, and then immediately pressed his save button for Simmons. Levine, though, wanted her too, saying he'd overlooked her earlier. "I know how special you are," Legend begged, to which Simmons replied, "John, you kinda broke my heart today. But I'ma give you one more shot." And with that, she stayed on Team Legend, much to the All of Me singer's relief. "Adam put up a fight. I was worried," he admitted. There was a performance that truly left everyone in amazement, and that was Nell Simmons and Olivia Kuper Harris singing Roberta Flack's sultry classic, "Feel Like Making Love." The battle rounds of The Voice season 27 were filled with a lot of talent and moments that will be remembered forever. In the course of this conflict, the conditions were prepared for a performance that would go down in history as one of the most memorable moments of the season. The undeniable chemistry between them, the complementary nature of their vocals, and the emotional depth that they brought to the song made this duet feel like a magical experience. Michael Bublé, Adam Levine, John Legend, and Kelsey Ballerini had already witnessed tremendous talent throughout the competition. Nevertheless, as Nell and Olivia went onto the stage, they were about to raise the bar to new heights. The combination of the two vocalists, each of whom had a unique vocal strength and musical style, appeared to be destined to produce something that is genuinely exceptional. What came next was a performance that was so personal, soulful, and engaging that it left the coaches, the crowd, and the spectators at home in a state of awe. Contestants: 2 artists, 1 incredible duet for the competition. Nell Simmons, who is well known for her velvety alto voice and raw, passionate approach, had been one of the artists who stood out the most during the blind auditions. As a result of her unmistakable stage presence and her ability to transmit profound emotion in each and every note, she became an instant favorite among her audience. Her deep and rich voice had an unmistakable vulnerability that had the potential to crush hearts, but at the same time, it possessed an unshakable strength that set her apart from other voices. Olivia Kuper Harris, on the other hand, entered the stage with a completely other kind of enthusiasm. A thing of beauty, her soaring soprano voice was capable of hitting notes with great precision and strength. Her voice was a thing of beauty, with a musicality that enabled her to seamlessly navigate between jazz and pop genres. Olivia's vocal abilities possessed a sense of refinement and elegance that distinguished her apart from other singers. Olivia provided an aura of confidence and refinement to her performances, which made her a tough adversary. If Nell had a more contemplative delivery, Olivia would have been a more formidable opponent. The two possessed a natural chemistry that would prove to be ideal for the duet, despite the fact that their vocal styles were uniquely different from one another. There was no doubt that both of the contenders possessed an instinctive sense of how to use their voices in ways that were complementary to one another. In the course of the rehearsal process, it was immediately apparent that the two were already working to transform the performance into something truly remarkable. The smokier tones of Nell were a perfect complement to Olivia's bright, soaring notes, which resulted in a sound that was well-balanced and rich, and it had an atmosphere that was both intimate and strong. The decision to include the song "Feel Like Making Love," which was initially made popular by Roberta Flack, was a courageous one as well. The song itself is a seductive ballad that is just as much about the space between the notes as it is about the lyrics when it comes to their significance. The song calls for a level of nuance, emotional depth, and excellent timing on the part of the actor. Nell and Olivia were able to demonstrate their vocal dexterity and their capacity to grasp the core of a song through meticulous phrasing and true feeling. This was the ideal moment for them to do so. The arrangement that they were about to play was meticulously designed to take use of the talents that both singers possessed. With a mellow, jazzy mood and a fluid pace, the song allowed for lots of room to breathe, which provided both Nell and Olivia with the opportunity to interpret it in their own distinctive ways, while also mixing their voices in a seamless manner. While the arrangement had a classic feel to it, it also gave them the opportunity to put their own unique spin on it, which resulted in it being both contemporary and appealing. The two singers were not only making magic with their vocal dynamics, but they were also building an undeniable connection with one another as the session proceeded. This became apparent as the rehearsal progressed. Each of the vocalists had a profound emotional investment in the song's core, and they were aware that it was not just about singing, rather, it was about creating an experience for the audience. The vocal synergy between them made it quite evident that this performance would be one for the record books. This performance combined sensuality and emotion in a single package. In the evening before the battle, the stage was prepared. As the first chords of Feel Like Makin' Love began to fill the arena, the lights were turned down, and the audience sank into a state of anticipation and quiet. The atmosphere was filled with a sense of expectancy, and every ear was tuned in to hear how these two exceptional singers would approach such a well-known song. It was Nell Simmons who took the first verse, and her voice was silky and seductive as she summed the opening lines with a subtle sensuality. It was almost as if she had a magnetic quality to her delivery. Each word was meticulously chosen, and each sentence was a whisper of vulnerability that pulled at the heartstrings. She created an intimate moment that seemed like a discussion between her and the audience by embodying the emotional depth of the lyrics and bringing together the audience and herself. Her voice seemed to move in time with the music. It was silky and brimming with feeling, and it engaged everyone in the room. While Olivia Kuper was contributing to the second verse, her voice rose above Nell's, bringing an additional dimension of radiance and sophistication to the overall composition. Even while her delivery was as precise as it had always been, there was an undeniable charm to the way she interpreted the situation. It was not enough for her to merely sing the notes. She became the song, encapsulating the yearning and emotion that were expressed in the words. It was a demonstration of both her technical skill and her artistic aptitude that she was able to traverse the high notes without sacrificing the emotional weight of the performance. Their voices blended together in a flawless harmony that was nothing short of miraculous. Together, they created a beautiful sound. Olivia contributed a layer of airiness and lightness, which was in contrast to Nell's contribution of depth and resonance. As the song went, their vocal combination became more and more dynamic, ebbing and flowing with each new verse. In certain instances, they would sing in harmony with one another, while at other times, they would sing in unison, thereby achieving a perfect harmony between their voices. The emotional intensity increased when both vocalists hit their mark, demonstrating that they were aware of the appropriate amount of contribution to make without dominating one another. The strong emotional connection that exists between Nell and Olivia was brought to light during the middle half of the song, which was characterized by the music becoming more intense and the lyrics becoming more fervent. Throughout the song, they kept the audience on the edge of their seats, bringing them deeper into the narrative of love and yearning that the music was trying to communicate. The performance reached its pinnacle when the two joined forces for the last chorus, making their voices soar in perfect unison that it was impossible to miss. It was impossible for the audience to contain their admiration for the genuine emotion that they had brought to the stage, as the intensity of their performance was absolutely amazing. Following the final note, the audience exploded in ovation as it continued to linger in the air. In addition to the fact that the atmosphere in the room was electric, there was no question that this performance had made an unforgettable impression on everyone who was watching. A moment of musical magic that transcended the competition itself was generated by the combination of Nell's smoky, grounded vocals and Olivia's soaring, ethereal sound. This combination had successfully created something genuinely remarkable. The responses of the athletes. Before the ovation subsided, the coaches did not spare any time in providing their criticism to the players. The first person to speak was Michael Bublé, who had been visibly moved by the performance up until that point. When he replied that was one of the most beautiful duets I've ever witnessed on this show, his voice broke with emotion. Yes, that was absolutely stunning. It is not simply the vocal style that I am referring to, even though it was great. Rather, I am referring to the connection that exists between the two of you. The two of you brought a great deal of realism to this song. You took ownership of it. You had the impression that you were telling your own story. Adam Levine continued, "What really stood out to me was the way that you both trusted each other." He said this with a smile on his face. It wasn't just a matter of singing together. You were actually making something brand new. You brought this level of depth, Nell and Olivia. Your voice just lifted everything from the ground. It was really breathtaking. A nod of agreement was given by John Legend, who is known for his emotive side. There was something quite remarkable about the way in which the two of you connected with one another and with the song. Something about this duet is so compelling that it defies the concept of competition. To put it simply, it was stunning. Kelsey Ballerini couldn't help but add, "You two made that look effortless." She said so with a smile on her face. To me, it was like watching two voices meld together to create a single, flawless sound. What an uncommon occurrence that is. That is the kind of enchantment that we all wish for. The consequences. We will never forget this battle. When it came time for the coaches to arrive at their conclusion, it was abundantly evident that this particular performance would go down in the annals of The Voice as one of the most unforgettable moments in the show's history. Not only had Nell Simmons and Olivia Kuper been able to provide a faultless performance, but they had also demonstrated how two artists, despite their differences, could collaborate to produce something that was truly remarkable. The synchronicity that existed between them was indisputable, and the way in which they performed "Feel Like Makin' Love" left everyone in a state of amazement. Although it was up to the coaches to decide who would advance in the competition, there was one thing that was certain. This duet was a shining example of what makes The Voice such a remarkable show. It wasn't just about singing, it was about artistry, connection, and the magic that comes when two voices come together to create something that will be remembered forever. This concert served as a demonstration of Nell and Olivia's talent, their commitment, and the ability of music to bring people together, all of which were demonstrated by their performance.